Hello, Nikolai Markovich from Echolake Technologies, ecolaketech.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to implement the latest version of the stripe.js plugin, version 1.9.85. But first, I'd like your feedback. Are my videos providing you enough detail to help you with your Bubble app? Please leave a comment below. And secondly, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks. Now, let me give you a quick demo here. So for this, and this is for a simple credit card transaction without setting up a user account. So just type in a name on here. So we'll say Jane Doe. And this is a special credit card number that Stripe gives you for testing purposes. And let's just say $50 and make up this email address here in the CVC. And then submit. And oops, I think I've got a typo here. There we go. And we have this pop-up just to confirm the information. And confirm. Bubble is doing its thing and interacting with Stripe. And then transaction successfully received. And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go to my test environment for Stripe. And let me go into a refresh. And we should see for $50 from Jane Doe. So there's a quick demo on how to get a transaction made with a stripe.js plugin in your Bubble app. Now let's talk a little bit about setting this up. First, you're going to need a Stripe account. So stripe.com, go in and create your own account. After you have that account set up, you are going to want to make sure that you are viewing test data for one thing. The second, you're going to click on developers here. And then when this opens up, you're going to see API keys. And you're going to need these API keys over here. And I've got these blanked out as these are my own for my test environment purposes and for creating these videos. Next, what you're going to do is we'll come over here to the design and over in plugins. So this is I've already got it set up. And we're going to do add plugins just to kind of walk you through how to get this. So stripe.js. And here's the plugin that you want here. So I've got it already installed, but for you, you'll probably see an install button. So just click on install. And then over here, you see 1.9.85. So there's a lot of choices, and I've got the latest version here. And then for the keys, you'll see over here, this is where you want to put in your PK test number and your SK test number. In prior versions, you needed to put the word bearer in front. There is no longer a need to do that. So you just basically come over to your Stripe account and do a copy and paste into the plugin here. So that's how you set up the plugin. And let's get into the design. So what we have here, just basically got some simple text fields for the name on credit card number, payment amount, and so forth. If you're not familiar, so you basically come over here and click on text, and then you can type whatever you need on your app. And then we've got these input here. So the first one is for the name. The default will come up with placeholder of type here. This is going to be of type text for the name. And again, if you're not familiar, scroll down over here for input, like that. So you can see default here is type name. And I left all the other defaults the same, so you can choose different content type. But again, for this one, for name, it's text. Next one's credit card number. And so for this one, I put an initial amount of these X's in here. So one thing with Stripe and the credit card number, you'll want to go and add the maximum number of 16. The other thing is you'll notice I have this as text numbers only. So you could put this as text. The issue that you'll run in there is that somebody could actually type in text numbers. So you don't want that because that won't transact. So you want text numbers. The other thing is you don't want to add integer because you'll see some of these fields change, and then it's going to ask for if you want a minimum and maximum, and that's not going to really help you out for entering a credit card number. So again, you want to go to text numbers only, and then that way you can limit the number of characters. So just click on that box and type in 16 here. The other thing, and I should have noted for all of these inputs, is that you want this input should not be empty to be clicked. I'm sorry, it should be clicked. So you want to make sure that all of your inputs, this input should not be empty, that's checked. The next, payment amount, and for this one, I don't have any placeholders or anything. This is going to be of type currency. And then you can put whatever currency prefix. So I've got US dollars on here. And again, this should not be empty. Similarly, another input for email. And then it should not be empty. CVC, again, text numbers only. You want to choose that. And then limit the number of characters. So depending on your credit card, some credit cards are 3 for maximum number, some are 4. So I just put a default value, or I shouldn't say a default, a maximum of 4 for that one. For the month and year, all I did for this is a drop down. So our drop down is right here, like that. And you've got choices here, static or dynamic choices. Dynamic choices if you are going to do a search, if you have data from in your database or whatnot. For this, it's just going to be static choices. And for month, you can type in January, February, whatever you want to do, or you could do month 1, month 2, month 3, so on and so forth, however you want to do it. And then similarly for year, it's 2020 currently, 2021, and so on and so forth. So when you do static choices, these will be the values that show up in your drop down. And over here, again, I've got this set up 1 through 12. Again, you could type in January, February, so on and so forth. Though as I say this, I believe that with Stripe you actually need to have a number in there, and that if you type in January, February, and so forth, that won't work. So I would maybe do an experiment and see if January, February, so on would work. But for this video, I do know that putting in 1, 2, 3 for the month does work. Again, input should not be empty. And for year, I just typed in up through 2030 for that. And we have a submit button. And for the submit button, it's basically, I have this conditional here. So when the credit card number's value is not empty. And the reason why I have this is I want to make sure that there is some data that's entered into one of these fields here before a pop-up that I have created opens. Otherwise, if I don't do that, then when in the demo I showed that the pop-up, it's going to show all empty fields. So that's just a little way of making sure that the data is filled. And I just picked one field. For credit card number, you could put all of the fields, in which case you would do an and then input value is not empty, for instance. And you can keep adding to that. So what I'm going to do here is I actually have a pop-up, and the pop-up's name is confirm payment info. You can see a little picture of it there. And what I want to do is I want to send this group payment submissions user to that pop-up. And then I'm going to show the pop-up. Now the reason why I do this is because when the pop-up opens, the pop-up needs to know what data to use. And so I need to send the data. So I'm capturing the data here, and I want to send it to the pop-up. So that is what this workflow step does. It gets the data and it sends it to the pop-up. Now, note also that here I have a group, and the reason why I have a group is because I have a reset command, reset data command. So after a transaction is complete, and let me go over here, you see that all these values have been emptied out. And that's the reason why I need to put this in a group, so that I can, in one step, blank out all of these inputs, so that for the next credit card transaction, it'll be all set to go for inputs. And payment submission is the name of the group. Just to go back to this workflow here, so group payment submissions, and then user. And user is just the type of content that I put for this. Depending on your app, you may have something for credit card, but I think user is generally a fairly safe approach for setting this up. Next, I've got the pop-up. So again, for pop-ups, it's down here, and so for pop-up, just kind of drag and drop here, and that's how you create a pop-up. Delete that, and where's, okay. So on this one, again, text field, confirm your information, and what I have here is I typed in amount, and then I have a dynamic value here, input payment amounts value. So that's payment amounts value, input payment amounts value. And then I have it formatted as currency. So let me just go and show you how to do that real quick. So if I were to add another line on here for amount, and then insert dynamic data here, and then payment amount, value, and then you see this more here, so I can click on that, it goes away. If I click on value, okay, it gives me these choices, but then I want to click on more, and it gives me these other options. And the first one here is formatted as, default is number, set it up as currency, whatever you want for decimal places, decimal separator, thousands, and currencies, and so on and so forth. So that's how you go and you set it up for a format. I'm just going to delete that. And the other thing you can do is click on the rich text editor here. It's going to open up another screen. And I've gone in and I've just changed the color and bold-faced the labels here, and then changed the value to a different color, just to kind of distinguish what the dynamic value is, and then what these labels are here. So you can go in, change some of the different sizes, and so on and so forth. I kept this very basic for this demo. Input value, again, input email here, and then the value, input name on credit card. So that's this value here, input name on credit card. And drop down months value, and then the year value as well, and then input for the CVC number as well. So it's just a basic way of showing the information for the credit card before the transaction actually happens. And now for the two buttons that I have on here, again, to add a button, just click on that. I'm just going to delete it. So for here, I've got this cancel button. I have a conditional, so that when the button is hovered, I just change the color and the background color as well as the font color. So to do this, define another conditional, and then when this button is hovered. So it gives you a lot of different choices here, but when it's hovered, then you have this option here, select a property to change when true. And then all I did was, let's see, the font color here, just changed it like that. And then what was the other one I had? Background color. So I'm just going to type in background. Where is it? Background color. Like that. And that's basically how I've got it set up. So I'm going to remove that condition because I don't want it. I've already got it here. And for the workflow for this cancel, it's just simply hiding it. So when the button is canceled, I come over here to Element Actions and click Hide. And then I get this pop-up, and the element that I want to hide is the pop-up to confirm payment information, like that. And that's how you do it. And I'm just going to delete because I already have it here. So that's for cancel, for confirm, the workflow for that. Now, on this one, I actually have a set state. So I've created a state on here, a custom state. And basically, the reason why I'm doing this is to prevent when somebody clicks confirm, I don't want them to click multiple times in rapid succession, and that might mess up the interaction with Stripe and create a few extra transactions. So what I've done to prevent that is in this workflow, I have this custom state, and it's within the element, the pop-up element. And I've called it the custom state is processing payment is what I've called it. And the value is yes. And let me just go back. And I'll point a link down below for a video that shows you more on creating custom states. But right now I'm clicking on the pop-up and then click on the I. And then basically I've got this custom state. Processing payment. It's of type text. I've got the value of yes that I just showed in the workflow. Now, if you're going to add a custom state, you just click on Add New Custom State. Get this pop-up. I'm just going to call it Test, Text, and there it is. And again, I'll give you a pointer to the video on how to create custom states. I've got a few videos on that. Let me just close this. I'm going to go back to the workflow over here. All right. So basically, by setting this value yes, okay, I'm going to go back to the confirm button. And under conditional, so what I've got here, similarly, when the button is hovered, change the colors. But then I've got these this pair, if you will, of conditionals. So when the pop-up confirm payment infos processing payment, so that's the name of the custom state, processing payment. When the value is yes, I'm going to change the text of the button to say confirming, and then this element isn't clickable. So let me see here, where is this element? Is, oh, I think I've already, since I've already chosen it, it's already here, so I can't choose it more than once. So you'll get an option, this element isn't clickable, and then select that. So whenever the value is yes, you can't click this button anymore. And then I have the opposite of when that custom state processing payment is no, then the button is now clickable. And again, this helps prevent any double clicking so you prevent any multiple transactions occurring from people rapidly clicking a button. Okay, the next, stripe.js customer create. Okay, so for this one, what we want to do is, let me show you where to get it. So under payment, and where is it here? Customer create, there it is. So under payments, stripe.js customer create. So you want to click on that. And so for this one, you need to fill in the input name. So this is that input field. So you want to put the value for that. And you need their email address, that input as well. So again, email address and their name. So you want to add those values in here. And these are dynamic values. So you put those in there, and then creating payment transaction, you can type in whatever you want here. As you can see, you could put dynamic data in there as well. The addresses, so keeping this simple, this demo simple. I don't have any of the address information. You can certainly put that in there as well. Maybe in a future demo, I can show how that's done so that accounts for customers get created within Stripe. The next is convert the card into a Stripe token A. So let me just come back to the design here for a moment. So this is Stripe token A. So this is an element, and let me just, so you see there's Stripe element, Stripe source, and Stripe token. So you want to choose Stripe token, and this will be Stripe token B. So I've already got Stripe token A rather, and you just make sure that this is clicked. Element is visible page load. This is just the default value. I didn't do anything additionally to it. I just added it onto the page. And back to the workflow. So convert card into Stripe token A. All right. So now instead of going to payments for this, we come down to element actions. All right. So under element actions, convert card into Stripe token A. So this is a little bit different again. So in this prior step here, creating customer, we went under payment to do that. But to convert the card to Stripe token A, we come to element action because we're actually doing this with an element. You click on that, and then you get all these fields. I'm not going to fill it out here because I've already got it done here. And again, Stripe token A, that's the only Stripe token I have. If I had left Stripe token B on there, you'd see Stripe token B. Generally speaking, you'll probably just have one Stripe token on here. Credit card number, again, expiration month, expiration year, CVC, these are all those inputs that we looked at earlier, and credit card holder's name as well. So one of the things you also need to do is the address country code, so US for folks in the US. You'll want to go and refer to Stripe's website to make sure you have the right country code for whatever country you may be writing your app for. And then, similarly, this is a dynamic field. So if you have if your app is for multiple countries, you can, as part of your input field, you want to ask your customer what country that they are, their credit card will be originating from. And then similarly, this is a dynamic field, but for this, it's US dollars is the currency code. And that's how you set up the convert card to Stripe token A. And then when that's done, we hide that pop-up field. And then this custom state, we set the value back to no. And that, again, that will allow the button to be clicked again. So this one here sets a custom state of processing payment to yes. That disables the ability to click the button. And this here sets it to no, which now allows that button to be clickable. Okay, so the other thing that we need to add in here is this step here. And this is when Stripe token A card has been created. And to get that, so click here to add an event. And it's basically under elements, and Stripe token A for a card has been created. So this one right here, Stripe token for a card has been created. And you can see because there's only one Stripe token A on here, Bubble automatically adds it. So let me just delete that since I've got this workflow already built out. And for this one, stripe.js, so charge, create. Okay, so let's go. I'll show you how to get that. So payment, stripe.js, charge create. So you want to choose this one right here. Okay, so stripe.js charge create, stripe.js charge create. I'm going to delete this because I've already got it filled out right here. And you want to choose, for this one, token. Make sure you choose token because that's what you're doing. You're using a token from the Stripe token A. And then this Stripe token's card token. All right. So this Stripe token, card token. So you get some options on here. You want to choose card token, and that's it. Customer ID, card ID, you don't need that for doing this simple transaction. And the amount, so again, you want to enter in the, this is dynamic field, the amount from that input. Back over here, payment amount, and then the value. Again, US dollars for this one. And then you want to do capture now. And then what that'll do is that will, within Stripe, it'll immediately capture the transaction, the amount within Stripe. And then I've got a message, an alert message here that basically will say the transaction is successfully complete. And I'll show that in just a moment. And then what I do here is I do a reset on all the data. So on that group, and this is why I mentioned earlier, you want to have all of your inputs and everything within a group so that at the end of the transaction, you reset the inputs so that they're blanked out so that the next transaction doesn't have all of those values, the credit card, the name, and so forth. Those are all reset values. Let me go to the alert. So here I've got alert successfully received, and to get an alert, it's right here. You click on that under Visual Elements, Alert, like that, and then you type in whatever you want. I'm just going to delete that since I've already got it set up. Let's see, the other thing that you'll want to do is if the Stripe token couldn't be created. So for instance, say that the credit card was an invalid credit card. They didn't type in enough characters, say they only typed in 14 of the numbers. So you want to have a condition where that, or a workflow for when the Stripe token couldn't be created. And basically what I've got here is I hide the pop-up that had all the information, the confirmation information, and then I open another pop-up that just says this pop-up has an issue with it. This transaction, the credit card has an issue with it. So pop-up issue with credit card, and it's just a simple, again, another simple credit card with a message. There's an issue with the credit card. Please check info and submit again. And then the close button, it just simply hides that pop-up. So that is basically it. Not too many workflows to enable this. The Stripe token ones are important. One for a successful creation and one for when the token could not be created successfully. So those are important. And let's go back and let's do just another demo, and you can see it's refreshing. Okay. So like if I hit submit now, it's not going to open up that pop-up because I don't have all the information in there. So let's say Jack Smith. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in a couple of numbers in there so you can see the message. Jack at test.com. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's coming up here. It's showing all the information I've entered, and when I hit confirm, you can see the confirming changes, and if I keep clicking it, nothing happens because of that custom state. All right, so issue with credit card. Please check info and submit again. Okay, so I don't clear out the data at this point. I leave all the data in there. And again, 4242, this sequence here is Stripe's test credit card number for testing. So now I think I've got everything correct. Okay, it confirms or shows me the information entered, confirm, and transaction successfully received. Let's go over here to payments. Just do a refresh. All right. Yeah, so it was already in there for $33 from Jack Smith. Okay, and that is how you set up. Just make sure that is the latest and greatest. Yeah. So that is how you set up within Bubble, your Bubble app, the stripe.js plugin. If you have any questions, drop me a note down below in the comments. I do appreciate staying to the end. If you do like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate that. And again, subscribe to my channel for future videos. Thanks.